Welcome the students of class 7. Welcome to our social science history class. And today I am going to discuss another subunit of the chapter 1. The name of the chapter is Tracing Changes Through 1,000 Years, and the name of the subunit is Historians and Their Sources. I have already discussed this subunit in previous class. Today I am revising the important points from this subunit one by one. So let's start the subunit. That look at the picture in the first slide, that what are the sources of medieval history. That the information about the medieval period is delivered from two sources mainly, archaeological and literary. And the medieval period, you already know that it was started from 700 AD up to 1750 AD. So archaeological sources available to us include monuments, temples, coins, tombs, ornaments and paintings. But there is also considerable discontinuity. So it is very difficult for the historians to write history from these sources. But in medieval period, the number and variety of textual records increased dramatically. They slowly displaced other types of available information. So when textual records are available, then obviously the other archaeological sources irrelevant. Now look at the next slide, that through this period paper gradually became cheaper and more widely available. So what is the main discovery at that time? Paper was discovered. The three major discoveries of the medieval period, it is the silk, the paper and gunpowder. So, and among them, paper gradually became cheaper and more widely available at that time, and people used it to write holy texts, chronicles of rulers, letters and teachings of saints, petitions and judicial records, and for registers of accounts, as well as autobiography, farmans and accounts of foreign travelers, and are available from this period in Persian and Arabic. So this type of literary sources discovered by the historians and those were written at the time. So manuscripts were collected by wealthy people, rulers, monasteries and temples. They were placed in libraries and archives. So what is archives? You have to know that a place where documents and manuscripts are stored. Today all the state and country, they have their own national archive. So in our state, in each and every state of India, and also in the capital of India, Delhi, the National Archive and the state archives, all the necessary documents of medieval to modern age were carefully preserved. So these manuscripts and documents provide a lot of detailed information to historians, but they are also difficult to use. Now look at next slide. There was no printing press in these days, so scribed copied manuscripts by hand. But another problem was there with these written documents, that no printing press was discovered. Paper was invented, but printing press was not invented. It was invented in 15th century. So before that, all the literary sources actually handwritten. Actually, all the literary sources were handwritten So as a result, they also introduced small changes, a word here, a sentence there. In this way, all the scribe means those people who copied those manuscripts, they intentionally or unintentionally inserted some word or sentences. They include something new. So these small differences grew over centuries of copying until manuscripts of the same text become substantially different from one another. In this way, when different scribes copying the same manuscripts, then at least their different versions were created, and all the versions were actually different from each other. As a result, historians have to read different manuscripts, versions of the same text to guess what the author had originally written. It is very difficult job to find out the history from those manuscripts. So another example is given in your book. So look at the last slide, that the 14th century chronicler Ziauddin Baruni wrote his chronicle first in 1356 and another version 2 years later in 1358, and the two manuscripts, then the two chronicle are different from each other, but historians did not know about the existence of the first version until 1960s, and it remained lost in large library collections. In some countries, in large library collection, it was lost. So it is very difficult for the historians to find out history. But when they discovered another one, and they compare the two copies, both the copies, there are lot of dissimilarity between these two copies. Okay, that's all from the historians and their sources. In this way, history were written, and historians should be very careful to find out history from those literary sources. Those are written on hand. So thank you for watching. For future updates, stay connected with our YouTube channel and website, and do not forget to like the video and subscribe our channel. You can also follow us on our Facebook page. Our website is www.bardwanmodelschool.ac.in.